Few people know that behind Steve Martin's brilliant career are ups and downs, important decisions, and even a tragic ending. Is Steve Martin's life and career just a funny story? Or is it full of pain, loss, and great challenges? Let's explore his surprising journey through this video and learn more about little-known things about Steve Martin. Early career. Steve Martin was born on August 14, 1945, in Waco, Texas, into a family with a military and artistic background. Although his family did not have a tradition in the entertainment industry, Martin showed a passion for art and comedy from an early age. At the age of 11, he began learning to play the banjo, and it was music and comedy that ignited his passion for the arts. He regularly participated in school productions and showed his creativity in his performances. After graduating from high school, Steve Martin continued his studies at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, where he majored in arts and social sciences. However, a career in music and comedy always attracted him more than pursuing an academic education. Therefore, Martin decided to drop out and enter the world of entertainment. This decision was not simply a step out of school, but also a challenging journey that he had to face. Martin left UCLA and moved to Los Angeles, where he began working at Disneyland as a ride guide. This was the first important step in his career, not only allowing him to interact with the public, but also learning valuable performing skills. Working at Disneyland helped Steve Martin practice his ability to communicate with the audience, an extremely important skill when he started his career as an actor and comedian. In the early 1970s, Steve Martin began participating in television shows and attracting the attention of the public. He became a writer for the famous comedy show, The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, where he was exposed to big names in the comedy industry. This was also the opportunity for Martin to hone his creative skills and become one of the most influential writers in the comedy world. Not only stopping at the role of screenwriter, Steve Martin also started to try his hand at performing on stage. He participated in comedy shows at nightclubs, most notably the performances on The Tonight Show, where he attracted a large audience thanks to his unique style of humor and unique jokes. Martin not only created funny stories, but also always tried to innovate himself in each appearance, creating excitement and surprise for the audience. Martin's comedy style in the early years of his career was very different from his contemporaries. He not only used simple jokes, but also added intellectual elements and silly situations that were still very personal. This made him one of the most popular comedians of the 1970s. Martin's ability to change his image and approach to comedy made him not only a talented writer, but also a prominent star, building a large and loyal audience and opening a new chapter in his career. With these initial successes, Steve Martin began to be known more widely, and his name was also associated with popular television shows and famous comedy performances. Breakthrough in comedy. Steve Martin has achieved great success in his comedy career thanks to his unique and constantly creative style. He has created a comedy style unlike anyone else, combining sharp satire, subtle improvisation, and self-mockery. One of the factors that makes Steve Martin successful is his ability to create unexpected situations and unique jokes. He often breaks the traditional rules of comedy, thereby giving the audience new experiences, both humorous and full of social satire. Steve Martin's comedy style is not limited to simple comedy shows, but also includes groundbreaking stage performances. His comedy shows stand out for their combination of unexpected jokes, philosophical humor, and great creative expressions. He not only creates laughter, but also makes the audience think about social issues, such as in his satirical and controversial performances. In addition, Martin did not hesitate to experiment with new images and genres, which made him never be framed in a fixed, humorous model. In the film industry, Steve Martin achieved a big breakthrough with the movie The Jerk, 1979. This movie was not only a comedy, but also a perfect combination of comedy and absurd elements when Steve Martin played Navin R. Johnson, a naive, simple character who had absurdly humorous situations. This was the first movie that helped Martin rise to become a big Hollywood star, opening a new stage in his film career. The success of The Jerk proved Steve Martin's talent in turning simple situations into groundbreaking humorous stories and affirmed him as a comedian capable of conveying charm and surprise on the big screen. Following the success of The Jerk, Martin continued to reap many more great successes in his film career. Notable among them was the film Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987, where he collaborated with John Candy. This film not only stood out for its tear-jerking situations, but also contained a profound message about friendship and empathy between strangers. Martin's role, a difficult and eccentric man, facing awkward situations, clearly portrayed the intelligence and sharpness in his comedic style. In 1991, Steve Martin continued to attract attention with Father of the Bride, a romantic comedy in which he played George Banks, the father of a bride preparing to organize her daughter's wedding. This film was not only a commercial success, but also helped Martin affirm his ability to play touching and humorous roles naturally. The story of a father struggling to prepare for his daughter's wedding brought audiences both humorous and touching moments, making Martin a well-rounded movie star, capable of combining many elements in each role. In 2006, Steve Martin participated in the movie The Pink Panther, an action-comedy reboot of the famous series of the same name. In the movie, Martin played Detective Jacques Clouseau, a character loved for his silliness and ironic situations. Although it was a difficult role, Martin still brought a new and humorous image of Clouseau while maintaining the character's characteristic silliness. The Pink Panther not only revived the legendary character, but also helped Steve Martin solidify his position in the film industry. Steve Martin is not only known as a legend in the comedy world, but he is also a talented musician with a deep passion for the banjo. Let's explore Steve Martin's interesting musical journey, from bluegrass tunes to the resounding successes of his music career. Music has always been an important part of his life and an indispensable element in Steve Martin's artistic career. Since he was a teenager, he started learning to play the banjo, an instrument that has greatly influenced bluegrass music, and he has maintained this passion over the years. The banjo has become more than just a hobby, it has become a part of his career. Although Steve Martin is famous for comedy, music has a special place in his heart. He does not just play the banjo for fun, but has made music an important part of his performances. Throughout his career, Martin has spent time on the road and often combined comedy with music in his performances. He even brought his banjo on stage during his comedy shows, combining laughter with traditional bluegrass melodies. One of the milestones in Steve Martin's musical career was the release of The Crow in 2009. This album was a major turning point in his musical career. It was not simply an album of pure bluegrass music, but also reflected the combination of humored music that was Martin's signature. With songs written by him, this album not only received the love of the audience, but also won the Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. This is a great achievement for an artist who was not a professional musician at first, and it proves that Steve Martin is a relentless innovator, not only in the field of comedy, but also in music. The Crow album features many famous bluegrass musicians, but Martin still plays the leading role in composing and expressing his musical style. In addition, this album is special in that Steve Martin perfectly combines humor and music, creating songs that are both funny and profound, making listeners feel close and easy to accept. Not only that, Steve Martin also has a remarkable career in the field of music performance. He participated in famous music festivals such as Merlefest and Hollywood Bowl, where he not only played banjo, but also performed artistic works with other bluegrass artists. He is also the founder and member of the Steep Canyon Rangers, a bluegrass band with whom he has collaborated on numerous musical projects and released several successful albums. Steve Martin's musical career is not only a journey of a comedian, but also a testament to his versatility and genuine passion for music. He has proven that he can master and shine in many different artistic fields while bringing his fans unique, creative, and humorous musical experiences. Along with his success in his musical career, Steve Martin continues to affirm his position as a versatile artist, always innovative and creative, constantly exploring new limits of art. Despite keeping his personal life private, Steve Martin has not been immune to personal difficulties, especially failed marriages. Personal difficulties. One of the most notable and public relationships was his marriage to actress Victoria Tennant. They met in the 1980s, and after a period of courtship, they married in 1986. This relationship, although beautiful like a fairy tale of two famous people, did not last long. After nearly a decade of living together, they decided to separate in 1994, just a few years after Steve Martin had become one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Their marriage was not simple. During this time, both were busy with work and personal projects. Steve Martin has become a big name in the entertainment industry, but that also means he has to deal with extremely stressful work schedules. Both he and Victoria Tennant are very busy with film projects and tours, and cannot devote enough time to their relationship. They are both people with high-profile careers, which sometimes makes them sacrifice time for each other and their families. These problems gradually accumulated and led to a breakdown, although they still maintained mutual respect after the breakup. In addition, Steve Martin is not immune to other personal problems. Although he is a private person, he also faces no small challenges in his relationships with friends and family. These stresses are not widely shared with the public, but there is no denying that they affect him. It is these burdens that sometimes force him to temporarily leave big projects and return to himself to find peace. However, Steve Martin did not let these difficulties affect his long-term career. He still maintained a stable career and was one of the indispensable names in the entertainment industry. After the 1990s, the golden period of Steve Martin's career, his career began to decline in the mid-2000s. Although Steve Martin still participated in major film projects, he was no longer recognized as in previous years, when each film he participated in was a big hit and achieved great success. Is this the end of a legend? Career decline. At this stage, Steve Martin turned to several other projects, but there were not many outstanding works like before. He began to participate in supporting roles in comedies, sometimes appearing in works that did not achieve great success. Films such as Shop Girl, 2005, or The Pink Panther, 2006, although starring Steve Martin, did not create a breakthrough or a big echo compared to the outstanding films in his previous career. In addition to the decline in commercial success, Steve Martin also experienced a change in his acting style. He began to shift to less humorous and complex roles. The works he participated in were more artistic and attracted less public attention. Although his career was still going steadily, it cannot be denied that he no longer had the strong appeal he had at his peak. In addition, an important factor leading to this decline was the change in entertainment trends. In the 2000s, life-inspired comedy genres and action and superhero movies became more popular. Classic comedy styles, of which Steve Martin was a symbol, were gradually replaced by silly comedy forms and movies with complex plots and strong action. This was a big challenge for an artist who had been associated with classic comedy genres like Steve Martin for a long time. However, Steve Martin did not completely abandon the film industry. He continued to participate in small projects and try his hand at various roles. However, significant successes in his career seemed to become less and less, and the films he appeared in were less widely recognized than before. With changes in the entertainment industry and changes in audience tastes, Steve Martin's career could not maintain the appeal of the early years. However, his contribution to popular culture is still undeniable, and he is still considered one of the greatest comedians of his generation. As Steve Martin's acting career slowly entered retirement, he took an interesting new direction. Are you curious about his quiet life outside the spotlight and his passions for music and writing? Let's explore how Steve Martin continued to live and dedicate himself to art in the final years of his career. Retirement. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, Steve Martin began to scale back his acting career and move into other areas. Although he was still a prominent name in the entertainment industry, he decided to stop taking on big projects like before, instead focusing on his interests and other passionate activities. One of the important changes during this period was Steve Martin's shift to music. Despite having a brilliant acting career, he decided to develop his lifelong passion for music, especially playing the banjo. He released the album The Crow in 2009, a work heavily influenced by bluegrass music and achieved great recognition, even winning a Grammy Award. Steve Martin's involvement in the music industry not only enriched his career, but also showed his diverse talents beyond the limits of a comedian. In addition to music, Steve Martin also began to move into writing, an area in which he had long shown passion. He published a series of books, including humorous works and novels. One of his outstanding books is An Object of Beauty, 2010, a novel depicting the contemporary art world. Steve Martin not only demonstrated his talented writing ability, but also demonstrated his creativity in many different fields of art. Steve Martin's health also began to decline during this period. Although he has not been open about his health issues, it is not difficult to see that age has affected his performance ability. Health problems and aging have forced him to reduce his live performances and participate in fewer large-scale film projects. Changes in lifestyle and work are inevitable as he enters middle age and old age. Steve Martin's life outside the entertainment industry has also changed a lot. He has moved to a quieter life, spending more time with his family and personal interests. Steve Martin is married to the artist Annabelle, who has accompanied him throughout the years. The two live in a cozy house, away from the spotlight and noise of Hollywood, finding peace in composing and creating works of art. Although he is no longer actively involved in entertainment, Steve Martin continues to stay in touch with the public through lectures, cultural events, and occasional musical performances. During this time, although he is no longer appearing in the media or participating in major entertainment projects, Steve Martin continues to contribute to the arts in other ways. He participates in cultural activities such as writing books, appearing in lectures, and occasionally playing the banjo in small concerts. The community continues to appreciate his contributions, even though he has withdrawn from the noisy entertainment life. Steve Martin's retirement is a gentle transition from his prominent acting career to his passions, allowing him to continue to find joy and creativity in a more peaceful life. Although he is no longer participating in high-profile projects, his career continues to be honored through his works and his constant contributions to the arts and culture. But regardless, Steve Martin's legacy in the entertainment industry is undeniable, especially in revolutionizing the comedy genre. Let's take a look back at some of his accomplishments. Legacy and influence. Steve Martin's legacy and influence in the entertainment industry is far-reaching and long-lasting. not only in the comedy genre, but also in other areas such as music and literature. Martin was not only a brilliant comedian, but also a cultural icon who changed the way the public and artists viewed comedy. In the 1970s and 1980s, Steve Martin's comedy style completely changed the face of the entertainment industry. He was known for his satirical and improvisational comedy, combining the crazy and the strange with the profound. Martin's performances were not only entertaining, but also challenged and expanded the boundaries of traditional comedy. Martin set new standards for acting, comedy, and audience interaction. His influence is evident in the careers of many of the most famous comedians of his generation, including Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell, and Ricky Gervais. These artists have all acknowledged that they learned a lot from Steve Martin's comedic style, especially his handling of unexpected situations and improvisation. Martin's creativity has influenced not only comedy, but also film, especially comedies, where later artists have adopted similar styles. In addition to comedy, Steve Martin's legacy extends to music and literature. Throughout his career, Martin has achieved great success playing the banjo and releasing musical albums, such as The Crow in 2009, which won a Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. As for writing, he has also published many books, including literary works, essays, and memoirs. With his characteristic sharp and humorous writing style, Martin has proven that his creativity is not limited to one field of art, but has spread widely. Praise from colleagues such as Martin Short and Chevy Chase further confirms Steve Martin's importance in the entertainment industry. Martin Short, Martin's close friend and longtime partner, has constantly praised his creativity and diverse talents, saying that Steve Martin is one of the most profound influences in the entertainment industry. Chevy Chase, Martin's friend and colleague from the early days, also expressed his respect for Steve Martin's unique comedic style and boundless creativity. Steve Martin is not only a talented comedian, but also a cultural icon who changed the face of entertainment. What do you think about his far-reaching influence in comedy, music, and literature? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates.